to the Relationship Toolbox, a show about the skills we need to build healthy relationships with others. My name is Tom Chamberlain, and my co-host is Marsha Castle. Today we're going to examine the need we have to welcome others into our lives, into our community, and what skills we might need to be sensitive to in doing that. And Marsha, I know you and I both have come from outside of Rutland and have had that experience. What was your experience coming to Rutland?
Well, even though it's been many, many years, I don't know how it could be that long ago when I'm so young, but it's been 40 years since I came to Rutland. And I still remember that it was a big deal for me. I knew like 4 people in the county. I came with a relationship, and I didn't have a job, I didn't have any other connections, and I remember, I was a young adult, but I remember, it was around the holidays, and I was at some kind of an assembly, and I saw people like greeting each other and saying hello with great warmth and ease, and I thought, am I ever going to feel that way again? Because it takes a long time to build that sense of belonging. So it was hard. I did not feel connected right away. I did get a job, and I got into theater, and I met people, but it was hard. It was hard. I do feel very grounded and rooted in Rutland right now, and I feel like I have purpose, and I'm seen and appreciated and connected with people. But it is not an obvious journey from arriving to getting to that way, and it's not often supported.
I was going to say, do other people even who haven't had that experience realize what it's like?
Or even people who had it a long time ago, or perhaps never, the people who were born and raised here.
Right.
So we wanted to kind of revisit that mindset of a newcomer, and we have invited a friend of mine who is new, Donna Price. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
So for context, please share whatever you're comfortable sharing about, like where you came from, how long you've been here, and a little bit about your family.
Great. Yeah, we moved in May from Northwest New Jersey, which is near the Delaware Water Gap. So a kind of secret, pretty part of New Jersey that nobody knows about. And it was a decision to move after my mom died, and we had shared a house for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And decided we didn't need that house any longer, and wanted to relocate. We were looking for a place that had better cycling. We're cyclists, so we were looking for gravel roads and lots of opportunity to ride our bikes, and the potential to go cross-country skiing. Where we were in New Jersey, the snow would come and then
boom,
gone.
By the afternoon, yeah.
Right now they have more snow than we do here, but it's unusual.
And weather patterns have changed too,
Yes.
So.
And we have 2 daughters that are both near grown. We have one daughter that's a senior in college and one daughter that just moved to Philadelphia. So they weren't moving with us, and they weren't tied to us staying in New Jersey. So it enabled us to make that move.
You had the whole world then. Or,
we did.
As far as you wanted to go. Wow.
We did. We looked all over, not the whole Northeast, but pretty wide area.
Rural back roads and snow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're glad. And
there was a few more criteria. We wanted lower taxes, which we have here, and we wanted more urban. We were in a very rural community, so we wanted more urban, but not a big city. So,
what season had you visited Vermont, or had you visited Vermont before?
I have been to Burlington a couple times,
okay.
And we had visited Bennington. We had been looking in Bennington for a little bit, and we came to Rutland in February.
Oh,
So it was
around
very
this time.
cold.
in winter.
It's cold and
So-
snowy.
That's not an easy time to move.
So truth in advertising, you knew what you were coming to.
Yes,
But you
people said it was
haven't-
cold, but we had lived in Buffalo. My husband's from Buffalo, so
snow belt.
yeah.
So you haven't even been here yet a year,
No.
technically. Okay, great. All right, so you're really a newcomer. So
Yes.
we can put our newcomer mindset back on through your
Sure.
experiences.
So when you've given us some idea about how you chose, Rutland, were there any other considerations that you were thinking of when you chose Rutland?
Definitely. So I look at what's going on in an area, and I look a little bit at the politics, but I also research the nonprofits in an area
really?
to see like what type of community is there and what they're working on and what they're willing to work on. And Rutland had like a wide array of nonprofits that were working on social justice, which is important to us, and food access and things like that. You also had Social Tinkering, which seemed like a really innovative organization to help bring people together, and we didn't see anything like that anywhere else.
That's how we met.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the concierge, which through the chamber, which was unique to all the places we were looking. And we looked at Ithaca and Utica and Kingston, New York, and the whole Hudson Valley. And so we looked kind of a wide area.
You did your homework. And there was competition.
There was competition.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. Who were we competing with?
Well,
Can we-
all in Kingston and other
Yeah, and part of
places,
it was affordable house that we liked, which, I mean, affordable and a house you like are hard criteria sometimes.
Sure.
But we like old houses, and
We have those.
and you have
If you're willing
beautiful
to.
architecture here, really.
we do. Not only is it we're asking to know and understand what it's like to be a newcomer now, because even though we've done it, it was a long time
Years
ago,
ago,
and it's different coming into, I think post-COVID it's different. But also we get to see our town through somebody's eyes, and it's refreshing to hear the reasons that you came and found positive about the area.
So now that you're here, have there been any surprises? Or has it been basically reinforcing what you thought about Rutland?
There have been surprises. We moved from a pretty rural, like we lived in a cornfield kind of rural.
Really?
So very small town we had a liquor store at one point and a small general store and a post office. Like that was downtown. But within 15 minutes, we had a bigger town. And so it's been interesting to move to Rutland, which is a much bigger town, but in some ways has less things. Like you don't have some of the, I call it Anywhere USA stores, where you could be anywhere and you see the same
Same thing.
stores.
Right.
Which is nice on the one hand, because you
Until
have
you need
beautiful downtown and lots of locally owned shops and stores, and that's wonderful. So it's kind of a shifting of your mindset that you shop differently. And and we don't shop at Amazon, so,
You really were reliant on local
Yeah.
stores
Yeah.
then?
You have to get
so
in the
that's been
car.
an adjustment or
Yeah.
a change that was interesting because it's a bigger town with, in some ways, fewer
Fewer things.
things. But
Any other surprises?
I think the town's been really welcoming.
Yay, good to hear.
What have you noticed in that regard then?
Well, we're renovating a house, and so we largely lived on our porch. That was the living room and the dining room, and we had, we lived in a bedroom, obviously, and we had a kitchen, but the people walking by were just all friendly. Like, we know neighbors, partially because we were on the porch a lot, but everybody's walking their dog. I think everybody in Rutland has a dog or two, and they all walk by. But people were just really friendly and, invited us to their house or invited
wonderful.
us over. So we found people really friendly. Our dog got loose one night, and one of the neighbors helped us. She was out walking her dog, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll help you look."
Nice.
You know, and so it was really nice.
Were there any things that disappointed you? That didn't meet what you thought?
I don't think so.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
So other than sitting out on the porch, what strategies have you used to find out what's happening?
Well, social media. Like I followed all the.
Such as, where did you look? How did you go about that?
Yeah, I followed the local Rutland group, and started before we moved. So I did this for different towns. So, you know, followed nonprofits. I followed restaurants and things like that. We watched videos. There's the guy that goes around and makes videos
Oh yeah, the chef
around Vermont.
What's his name?
So
Yeah.
we watched a few videos of his and other like tours of Rutland kind of videos just to get a feel for it. And yeah, so we try to do some research. Because we have college age kids, I look on Niche. You know, it's
I'm not
more of
familiar
a
with that.
college search tool, but
okay.
they have towns and cities, and they give you some demographics and stuff like that. So
You mentioned the concierge program. To what extent were you connected with that?
yeah, the woman that was there was definitely available. She sent us resources for jobs, and you know, if you need this or that, and you could just ask her whatever you needed, and she was available to send resources. We had a volunteer that we talked with a couple times about the move in the neighborhood, and that was helpful.
Do our viewers even know what the concierge
I think
program is?
we're planning to invite a member from Cedar to talk about that in the future, but maybe you could, for today, just give a quick summary of what that was. It's the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region, I think, does it, and Real Rutland does it as well. And I think at one time the young professionals were involved in somehow. But you could reach out to them and ask specific questions about like where you were going to buy a house and things like that, right?
Yep. Yeah, or questions about the city, or if you needed information about healthcare or insurance or any of the things that you have to navigate when you're moving. They were available to answer questions and help. And then they also invite us to the chamber events and the mixers that the chamber has. And then they have another mixer that's coming up just for the people through the concierge, I think.
Cool.
So you're able to meet other people by going to those things.
I wonder to what extent that is like offered, or people have to search for that. You know.
Yeah, I think you have to
You have to
initiate
initiate it. Yeah.
I think it would be great if realtors had that information and were
That's a good point.
recommending it to
Yeah.
people. I mean, we worked with a realtor, but she wasn't familiar with the program, so that would be a recommendation, is like go to the Realtor Association and
There used to be, back in the day, the welcome wagon. I remember
Yeah.
the welcome wagon came to us. I was also in Pennsylvania for a while. And I did some research on it because there are folks who want to reinvigorate something like that and not just leave it to organizations. But it kind of dissolved, and now just isn't as visible. There aren't people who dedicate themselves to welcoming renters and new people who move in. As a homeowner, I think you would probably be on the radar, but if you're
a renter.
a renter or a
Right.
traveling nurse or something,
It'd be harder to find you.
I was
be
wondering
much
how
harder.
that, and coming as a family too, when I came to Rutland, I was single, which was a different type of getting used to things. And so I was wondering how, did you find that other families tended to come to you, or did that matter at all? Were there individuals that sought you out?
We've mostly met neighbors, I would say,
That are
and then
close, yeah.
and then people within organizations that we've gone to. And since our daughters aren't living with us full time, we probably don't look like a family with kids. But yeah, people have been generous in their welcoming of us.
Of the same age, or was it all not a factor?
No, we've connected with people all different ages. You know,
Nice.
and the week that we moved was the local bike shop was doing the bike fest for the whole week. So we went
Perfect.
and biked with people and met people through that. So that was great. And so,
It confirmed that you'd done the right thing.
yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you came here, the ski country, and you took up cross-country skiing.
Well,
Did you
had
know
really
how
done
to
that.
do cross-country before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we've been cross-country skiing. We just don't have snow that stays for
In
more than
Mid-Atlantic, yeah.
a
Right.
day in
I
New
remember
Jersey.
coming here not knowing anything about skiing, and I did take up cross-country skiing, and I was on the golf course, and all of a sudden a man older than I came up to me and he said, "Do you know the Merry Widow Waltz?" And I thought, oh boy, you know, who's this guy? And I said, yes, I do. And he says, sing it in your mind, you'll ski better. And sure enough, you know,
That was
1,
the
2,
trick?
3, 1,
Yeah.
2, 3. Yeah.
Nobody ever taught me that.
I don't think I know that either. Do you want to sing it first?
I don't think so. I don't even want to ski it for you.
So, Tom, if we are looking about the skills that we as like existing residents or as people, newcomers, that we need to employ, we've talked about a lot of things like listening. I get excited thinking about like trying these things on with a fresh slate. You know, I'm meeting a new person and I can kind of start
Try out the
fresh.
skills.
Try out my skills is like, all right, I'm not gonna have the baggage that I have with people, and I'm gonna like practice all
Well,
of
it
these
calls
things.
for different skills, doesn't it? Or
Yeah.
different strengths of different skills. I
Yeah.
mean, there's more listening, I think, involved in engaging people you don't know.
No, if you want to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Were people approaching you that way, or were they more eager to tell you about them?
I think it's a mix, you know, of people that were, like it's a sharing, because you're just meeting someone.
It's tricky to break into in-groups, though. Have you felt like you've been just like enveloped in, maybe into the neighborhood, but where you're like in now? Or are you still on the fringes? Do you have an in-group yet?
I don't know if we have an in-group. I mean, I think one of the things you were talking about in the intro is how it takes a long time. And we kind of moved knowing that, because we left Buffalo with friends that were, for my husband, lifelong friends, and I'd lived there for 20 years. So it takes 20 years to have a 20-year-old friend.
It does.
You know,
So
so
you're not rushing it. You're realistic
So-
about this.
now we've left another place where we had friends that were, again, 20-year-old friends or 24-year-old friends. I would say here we've met quite a few people, and we've gone to places where we've seen people we knew.
That's really encouraging. Yeah.
That took a long time in New Jersey. It's a much different, more spread out kind of environment than Rutland. But we go to the farmer's market and walk around, and sometimes we see people we know and sometimes we don't. But that's kind of cool that within 8-9 months, we've met enough people that we can walk around and recognize people.
Have you met any celebrities here?
I have not. Are there celebrities?
Yeah, well, I ran into one once in Bridgewater, I think it was. Charles Bronson walked in to have lunch, and you just, whoa.
Because it's a tourist area, both
Yeah.
in
He
foliage
lived in- he had
and
a farm here, yeah.
and snow, sometimes people do come for
Yeah.
a short amount of time. But so also knowing the right questions to ask somebody too, because as we were saying, you want to get to know somebody, you want to reveal things about yourself, you don't want to offend, you're kind of doing that delicate choreography of revealing and asking it. Have
I
you,
mean, what's their religion? Are they strong with religious beliefs? What are their political beliefs? How did you navigate, or are you navigating that?
or is it willy-nilly, you don't need to know those things, it doesn't
I don't
matter?
really need to know what
Yeah.
your religion is.
So you just,
It doesn't impact me.
No one's tried to convert you or anything like that?
Not yet.
Okay.
so if you were, you say it takes 20 years, so you'll be an expert in 20 years, but let's say 2 years from now, and the shoe is on the other foot, and you are trying to support new people that are coming in, what would you tell them? Or how would you want to support them? If you're modeling what the rest of us should do.
Well, I think one thing is that you have to put yourself out there to a certain extent, right? You have to show up and be willing to meet new people. And so if you're new, like by Rutland creating space for people to do that, you still have to show up for that event or that mixer or whatever that space is. But Rutland has a lot of free events where they close the road down
streets.
downtown, and you have festivals and the Winterfest coming up. Like there's opportunity to get out and start talking to people.
So do
Are there
it.
any particular traits that you found very different here from New Jersey that you might have to accommodate to or just enjoy?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
So we were talking once, and certainly you can get like the town report, and you can get statistics about the good neighborhoods and the stores and things like that, but it takes people to tell you how much candy you need to buy at Halloween. I think that was one of the, that's the
Every year we
the
ask.
important information you can't get anywhere except through another human being.
Right.
And everybody wants to know, well, where do you live? Because there's
Yeah.
trends, but
We turned the lights off at Halloween.
okay, yeah. We'll learn for a
Would you
few
do that
years
in New
and then-
Jersey?
In New Jersey, at our last house, we were on a more main road, and there just really weren't trick-or-treaters.
Well, I think,
But our house prior to that, we were in a very small town where everybody came, and you had thousands of people coming to your
Yes,
house. And our first year there, we bought what I thought was a lot of candy, and within like 45 minutes, it was gone. And then come to find out, you could go to the town hall, and people donated candy, and you could pick up bags so that you weren't spending $150 on candy.
so those are the inside stories
Yeah.
that you need to get. And not every town has a Halloween parade.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
Peg TV is a good source of information if you
Yeah.
haven't checked it. I know
I'll
that
have to check it out.
You will.
Yes. Right.
So
Is there? I know we have the same seasons as New Jersey, but are there any differences in the way they are celebrated, noticed between those states?
I think we were in a rural community, so we had more like farm hayride kind of things, because that was kind of where we lived for different seasons than I've seen here. But I'm sure I could go out of town and
right.
find
See that, yeah.
something
Right.
like
I'm
that
thinking
here.
of things that, like at Christmas time, and we were raising children coming here, that being from Cleveland, Ohio, never had this opportunity, but we would actually go to a Christmas tree farm, and they would take us on a hay wagon with horses out into the hills to select our own tree and cut it down, put it down, serve us cider, and take us back again.
Yep.
Never had that experience in a
We
big
have
city.
that in New Jersey, too.
You do, okay.
You said you were in the middle of a cornfield. If you have an affinity for corn, we have a corn maze. Have you gone to the corn maze?
I have not,
You'll,
no.
you'll have to check it out next summer.
Like a mystery.
So, have you encountered any stereotypes about Vermonters that have either been confirmed by being here or debunked?
I don't know if I knew any stereotypes about Vermonters. What are the stereotypes about y'all?
There are
Like
cartoons, yeah.
Tell me.
Well, like that everybody drives a Subaru, which is probably pretty close to true. I mean,
Yeah,
in terms
not
of,
me.
You don't.
Never.
Well, we like our apples and maple syrup, but
That
you
I've
know,
learned,
some-
and maple creamies are
Oh,
popular.
yes.
I
Yeah,
had
your maple
to,
cream. Some people have said that it's hard to get to know people. They'll show up for you in a crisis, but it's hard to kind of penetrate that outer layer of Vermonters. They're like, you do your thing, I'll do mine, and if we have to intersect, great, but have you found, it sounds like you haven't experienced that because your neighbors have been pretty,
yeah, we've met a
Chummy.
lot of really welcoming people. I wouldn't say that we know our neighbors really well. We've met them and we talk with them, but we haven't really hung out with them per se.
pardon me.
Bless you.
But I think, yeah, I haven't found Vermonters to
Being
be
cold.
cold.
And you know, private. And of course, those of us who have come from other parts have changed the flavor of what Vermont is like.
Maybe I've only met outsiders.
Maybe,
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
maybe.
Are you beginning to feel a little bit, though, like a true Vermonter in a sense? Are you beginning to feel as if this is home and...
Yeah, definitely. You know, we changed our license plates, so that's a sign, you know.
That's one of the good ones, yes.
And you're following the law, too. So when you think about where you're from a lot of different places.
Definitely,
What do you say when you're not here and say, where are you from? Do you list the journey that you've taken, or are you a Vermonter?
Well, if I was not here and somebody is saying, where are you from, I would say Vermont at this point.
You ever have them say, where's that? In
No,
response to that?
no.
That's another one that happens. If you get far enough away from New England.
We do want to talk in the future a little bit more about the CEDAR program, but also think about the fact that we shouldn't delegate that welcoming nature to an organization or other people. Not only do the newcomers have to step up and show up to the events, but I think it's on us to show up and step up and extend ourselves. And I hope that people continue to do that for you, and that in our next episodes we can give people some specific ideas about how to go about. It can be scary sometimes because we don't want to misstep or overstep boundaries. And
Or how transparent should I be to this person?
and
you know?
it's difficult navigating that. I know even when people go to parties or mixers, it can be hard. So
Yeah, I think starting conversations with strangers is a
It's hard.
challenge, whether you're new or you've been here.
It's
And
true.
figuring out how to do that.
And even more so now, I think,
Yeah.
in today's society than it was.
we all need practice, particularly
Yeah.
post-COVID. So thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
willing to talk about your experience being a newcomer. And we appreciate your time here today. And we appreciate you spending some time with us today on the Relationship Toolbox. And we'll see you again soon.